welcome back. Here we go. Like I said, nut up or shut up. Here goes the factory. So this first video will kind of be an overview, the plan. I'm going to show you how it's going to kind of look conceptually. Do some screen sharing or some screen grabs and show you the plan. And I'm even going to show you what it's going to cost me. I have the invoice, all the materials on order. I'm going to show you what it's going to cost. I'm not, whatever. You think it's crazy, then yeah, I'm crazy. But you're going to build something like this, you're going to spend some money, either in time, if you're going to buy a kit. And anyway, I'll get into the philosophical bent of it maybe later. But so here's the area. So this whole area here is going to be the Westinghouse Transformer Factory. I think that's it over to the viaduct there, which will be a whole separate video on how I'm going to do that. That's actually kind of placed where it's going to sit. What I did, based on my maniacal plan, I went in and actually marked. It's hard to see and it's not going to be great, but I'm going to try to point with my cheapo 25-cent yardstick here. So in the back, let me start here. So here's the high bay. These two tracks will go into the building out here. It's going to be about 21 inches out. Come over these two tracks, come back 9 inches, come over this track, come back 9 more inches, and let's have a little jut here for a little bit of interest. It's going to be this tall. It's going to be 4 stories. Here's the, imagine that laser out, the wall sections from ITLA. It's going to be about that tall. Maybe a little bit more when I get the base down and anything, but anyway, it's 4 stories. This end here is going to have one of their entrances, which looks pretty cool, coming in from the tank farm. And maybe some other auxiliary buildings. And maybe a small little turbine building. That kind of stuff will be in here. I think I mentioned on the last video using that big Walthers white round tank. I'm not going to. I'm probably going to use smaller ones for the area because it just looked too big. Anyway. Alright, so we come out 3 inches, 3 inches over, 9 inches over this track, door going in. Oh, back here, come across, again, 9 more inches over these two tracks. This track's got to move a little bit, so I got to bring this track up and scooch it over because you need 3-inch track centers for them. These two are okay. This one I got to move. I had no idea what I was going to be doing back when I laid these tracks, so big surprise, I got to move it. This is going to be a really high door. That's going to have to be custom built. It's going to be open, so it shouldn't be that hard. Back here, this track is I'm going to probably bend it, bring it up, so it comes straight back along the high bay for storage. And I'll show you why in a moment. And then back here, which you probably can't see, I don't know if I can even move my tripod closer to so you can see my scribbling, but I have my line. This here, 3 inches out from the wall, it's going to come back all the way over to here, come out over this track, which will go in the building, come over here to the viaduct and back. Now, from here, it's going to be it's going to be 5 stories. So it's going to be just about as high as that square there. 5 stories. It's going to come out to here, 5 stories, come back over here, will all be 5 stories. And then here it'll jump down to 4 stories and go along all the way along the back. Similar wall segments and panels to these over here. So the concept being high bay. This is a different part of the manufacturing process, probably more like the tank shop and whatnot. Here on the oops, the 4th and 5th stories here are the drafting and engineering offices because the windows look a little bit different, and I'll show you that. And that's going to tie back into here. And actually, the wall segments don't look too far off from this building in the backdrop, so I got lucky on that. It looks somewhat close. I think it looked believable once I get it all in. And then, like I say, this is going to be part of the, so up this way, since this is open, this track goes all the way through to the other end of the factory, the north end, where the Erie Railroad comes in, It's also a road, an access way for trucks to come down into here, and people, trucks, whatever, flatbeds, in shop carts, everything, down to here. This goes into the building. There's going to be a truck dock here, a couple other truck docks over here. And I'll show you, it's going to be another building sitting there. So that's the concept. So the way you get into this end of the plant is in between the high bay and this other building coming up through here. So I'm going to, rearrange this track, bring it straight back. It'll now be for storage for flat cars. I'm considering right here adding another number 6 turnout to give me 2 tracks in here. I don't know if I'll do that. I don't know if it'll pay enough dividends to do that. I'll think about it. And it's another tortoise I got to add. I have to worry about uncouplers. I'm probably going to lose. This is one of those Rapido uncouplers. I'm probably going to lose that when I rearrange this track. Although maybe not. Maybe I can just bend it here and be able to keep that. Because it's getting really hard to reach back there if you're going to be uncoupling. So anyway. Alright, so that's the concept. High bay, access, 4-story building, jump into 5-story building, coming over right to the viaduct. And then on this side of the building, over here, I'm going to have a man door, probably on the 4th floor. And then I like to make it come down to the sidewalk. I just think that would look kind of cool. So that is it. That's the, done. Are you done yet? That's the plan for the factory. Now, what I'll do now is kind of fire up the computer, because I do have, and this probably won't show up very well. I may need to modify this a little bit. I don't know if it's going to even show up at all. Probably not, but like I said, I'll do a segment. I did plan out as best as my feeble little mind could. Yeah, I can't even see that. Oh boy. Anyway, this is the layout of the whole factory. Like I said, high bay, possibly 2 tracks, and these are all the ITLA segments I'm going to do. So I'll show this. It'll look much better on the computer screen. I can kind of walk through and talk it, and then actually show you. I'll actually show you the darn invoice I got from them. I worked with Nick at Imagine That Laser Art. Great guy to work with. Was very, very helpful. Talked me through some things I didn't understand. So I'll show you what it's going to cost. Man, it's going to be a lot of damn money, but hey, that's what you do, right? Okay, so we pause this segment. That's the overview of the area. The rough plan is drawn on the actual ground level. Let's get into the computer screen and take a closer look at the plan for the factory. All right, welcome to the computer. All right, so here's the overall track plan of the area in Sharon. Station on the left, you come out of staging. This is going to be the Shorty Parker's Erie Builders building, the viaduct right here, and the factory on the right-hand side. So that's the track plan, and there's a sketch out of how I'm going to do it. So let's get into the actual details, just to show you that I'm crazy and I thought about this. All right, so what I did, taking the track plan, I actually laid out by actual wall segment how I want to lay it out. And I did the whole thing. I started off, again, I hit the viaducts over here on the left, and to help me think about it and to actually source and summarize what I needed, I have a wall A, a wall B, a wall C, a wall D1, and a wall D2. Now, walls A, B, C, D1 are going to be 5 stories. D1 is going to, or I'm sorry, D2 is going to be 4 stories. The high bay, which is down here, is all going to be 4 stories. So I just went along and I downloaded the templates that are available on the ITLA website. Did some cutting and pasting and making JPEGs and slapped them all together. Just, played with it the way I want to do it. Now, there's a lot of verbiage on this. Don't worry about it. What I was going through is I was kind of figuring out, okay, how do I make the panels look the way I want to? And Nick helped me out with that. I was a little confused, but I think I got it right now. And then down below, I was also kind of figuring out, well, if I take this wall panel and do this, what do I get out of it? Where can I put things? Again, trying to determine, how many do you actually need to order? Because I knew it was going to be a fair amount of money. So I was trying to do it efficiently and order the right wall panels that give me the right windows, brick inserts, etc. that I could use elsewhere. All right, so I went through and laid the whole thing out. Here, again, I showed you last time, this is the Monster Model Works bonded warehouse. I'm going to put that down in the front. Where this track comes in, that'll be a door. The 4053 segment gives you a door. Will come in the building, probably for 2 gondolas to fit. This is going to have the 4061 loading dock for trucks. There's a truck dock here off of this so they can get supplies in there. I'm going to put in one of their entries, which is the 4062 entry that goes into the 4053 panel. Looks pretty cool. And then that's going to be for folks to go in. And then right in this area, I'm going to have something. I'm not sure yet. Tanks, external machinery, I don't know, maybe some kind of filter or vent or pump, something cool and industrial will sit in here. And then this is the way the folks can come in and out and get to this area. Or, of course, out of this. This is actually not going to be a warehouse. It's more an auxiliary type building. Maybe it's maintenance or something like that for the main factory. So again, wall A, B, C, D1 are 5 stories. And the top 2 floors, the 4th and 5th, are, say they're the engineering drafting offices. It jumps down to 4 stories, and this is part of the manufacturing process, the plant itself. Back along here, like I say, I brought this track back along the high bay. I did not, and I'll show you that later. I'm not going to add another track. It's just too much of a hassle. I have a real brief segment that covers that. I'm not doing that. So this track is, just comes back along here, and it's going to be more. I could store a flat car back here, but more it's for the switcher to pull in the gondolas, and then back them into building here. Okay, this is the road again that comes from the far end. The theory is this roadway continues off to the right to the north end, where there's way more factory and where it connects with the Erie Railroad, and then this will be a kind of a roadway where you can access this area down in here, and I'll have that probably paved for a lot of this, even down over the tracks in here, maybe across here, so they can get trucks in here. Anyway, that's the plan for right now. So that's the way I figured all this out. And then using these numbers, I can start to add up what I needed to order. Now, this is the way it's going to look. So here's the panels that I kind of kludged up and added different windows. This is wall A, which is in front of the viaduct. The viaduct is shown, right here. So that's about where it's going to fit. Like I said, I want to have one of these have a door with some steps down to the sidewalk and a viaduct. All right, so it would look cool. And then these on walls A, B, C, again, the top 2 stories, the 4th and 5th, are the engineering drafting offices, so they have the smaller windows. Just, again, for something different. So wall A along the viaduct, wall B is the one that you look at from the aisle looking back at the building. Wall C is the one, again, where the track comes in here, loading dock here. And then looking straight back, again, here's wall D1, which, again, is 5 stories, offices on the top. Here's that Monster Model Works kit placed in there. I don't have the signage on it, but it's going to be in that auxiliary type building. Then it jumps down to 4 stories. I'll probably put a ladder down here, coming down. Kind of cool stuff. And then this is kind of a standard bunch of wall panels. And here's the one entry, the 4062 entry, to get into it. So that's the plan, the visualization of what I want to do. Now let me show you what's next. Oh yeah, okay. So here's the summary. So I went into Excel. I'm an engineer. And I said, okay, I need to know what I want to order. So I listed all the different segments and add-ons. And then for the high bay, let me go back. Let me just show you this real quick. I forgot to show this. High bay. So the high bay is down here, and again, same thing. Picked out the wall segments that I'm going to use and how I'm going to space things out. Back along here, since it's so far back, I'm probably going to make that out of that archival mat, the 1/8 mat that I have, or maybe some real thin plywood or something. I don't think I needed this. I didn't think I need to spend the money on more wall panels that you're just simply not going to see. So to save a little bit of money, very little bit, but a little bit, I'll make that a solid wall. You will be able to see in, a few panels back. So I decided to go 3 panels back. I may add columns in here. 4053, 4053 are the doors, and these are going to have to be cut open higher. And I'll have to do some kind of customization to get the doors I want. And then that lays out here. Like I said, down in this area is the tank farm. So I'll have another 4062 entry for the folks to come in and out of the building on this end. I think that'll look pretty cool. All right. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. So here's everything laid out. And I said, okay, I counted everything up, figured out what I need. I totaled everything. So I'm going to be buying 49 panels. So, okay. So I went with Nick back and forth a couple times at ITLA, and he helped me figure out what I need. I was a little confused on how the 4058s work. But anyway, got that figured out. Everything's now all in order. And let me see if I have that. All right, let me go back over here. And let me pull up. Here it is, folks. This is the actual, what I'm paying for it all. Now, he gave me some pretty good discounts. I have free shipping, and he threw in a couple things for free and whatnot. So these are all the panels that line up with my quantities. He double-checked it, made sure they were right. He's actually given me the 4061 loading dock and the 4062 entries, basically for free. The discounts here, I actually have more discounts on that. Anyway, there it is. Believe it or not. Yep. I'm spending just over $700 for this. But hey, the reason I'm doing this, as I thought about making this thing, to me, and I mentioned this before, and I'm not going to belabor it, but time is money. And again, in this hobby, as in many things in life, you can pay with your time, you can pay with your money, or some combination thereof. For me, as I thought about, trying to actually build this thing, the amount of time it would take me, cutting all the window openings, doing all the stuff that I would have to do, if I scratch built this, it'd take me forever. And for me, this has to be different for everyone. What do you value an hour of your labor at? Well, I have a number that I picked, and to me, it's worth it. Because to go through and scratch build all this and determine how you're going to do it, get all the panels, I said, you know what? No. I'm going to pay Nick, ITLA. It's going to get me what I want. So I don't feel bad about spending that kind of money. Otherwise, it would just take me forever to do all this. Now, this bonded warehouse, yep, I paid for it, but I had it. It's something I had, I built it. I am going to have to buy some additional oil tanks, probably some more details, some lights. Yeah, so, this whole thing is probably going to wind up costing about $1,000. I know that floors some people, but hey, if you're doing something like this, that's what you're going to pay. If you're going to do it that way. If you're going to scratch build it, God bless you. You'll be taking way longer than I want to take to do this, because I want to get this done. I want to have look the way I want it to look, and this will do what I want to do. So that's the way I decided to proceed with it. So that's it. All right. So that is the overall plan. And now it's a matter of waiting for all these panels, to come in. Like I said, they're all on order. Nick told me probably about 2 weeks. I'm about a week into it right now. So in the interim, I'm doing a couple other things, and maybe I'll just show a quick little segment of that. But this is pretty much where I'll stop this. So maybe one more brief or 1 or 2 more brief segments, although nothing I do is brief after this, to kind of show what I'm going to do while I'm waiting for all these goodies to come in. So we'll get to that in a moment. Whole events. All right, so one of the things I'm doing while waiting for the wall panels to come in is trying to do other stuff that kind of gets me ahead and ready to get that factory going together. Here's a bunch of vents that I got made up. I'm probably not going to use all of these, but I was going through and making them, painting them, going to weather them. I might as well do them all. These are some Ricks vents in the back, or some that are stolen out of some Walthers kits. They look kind of nice. So I said, just get them painted up, and ones I use. The other ones I put in my box of rocks, and I'm ready to have them at some other point in time. Some other things I'm doing. I did mention the gantries going together, so I'm going to continue working a little bit more on that. There's that Monster Model Works. I showed that already. And I'm doing, I'm building some stairs and some little pads, maybe for, I don't know, sand filters or whatever. Just, stuff. Just doing some stuff. What I did here, this is another borrow out of a Walthers kit. It's one of their 10th Street warehouses or something like that. I don't know, I got the kit and I was going to sell it, and I'm not selling anything anymore. I sell it, then I go out and rebuy stuff. So, alright, so what I decided to do was, well, that's kind of a neat looking little thing for the roof. So I put that together. I had to cut the roof down, and it's flat, not angled like the kit, but it looks okay. And it's 3 inches. That's going to be the size of the walls going across the back. So maybe I'll put that as part of the roof on the back part of the factory. So I'm working on some tanks. I got some of these Ricks tanks. I have the first one together here. One more of those. I have 2 43 footers. So I'll work on those. And I may come up with some way. I have these Walthers stairs and platforms that are pretty darn nice. They're etched brass and things. So maybe I'll come up with some way to have 2 tanks and a walkway, stairs coming down. Yeah, just noodle around with that a little bit. So there's the gantry or the overhead crane. I got that to go. I can always start working on that side. Here's other things borrowed out of the Walthers kits. For the interior of the factory, maybe. I don't know. There's that. There's some columns maybe I can use when you peer in the high bay. So I just kind of grafting things out of kits that I may be able to use. So, all right. So we'll occupy my time here. Like I said, there's probably plenty to do. And of course, I still have that darn Rapido RS11 to go back together, and there's a Bachmann steam engine torn apart. So I won't be hurting for things to do, that's for sure. Alrighty, so let's wrap up this part 1 of the factory build. One other thing I did do here is I got the track all rearranged and moved over and refeedered. It was kind of a pain. I had to reach way in the back on this back track, and I literally had to climb. I'd almost kill myself to resolder a feeder way back there. Which, here's a yardstick. Here's my so that's getting too far away. Don't do this. Don't design a layout with tracks so far away. But it's too late for me. But save yourself. No, it'll be fine. I was going to test it. I have my little handy dandy shop switcher, but then I realized that I laid metal weights gluing that factory piece back in. So don't turn the power on just yet. But I'll test it, get it all set up so it's ready to go. So now, while I'm waiting, like I said, for the goodies to come in, I may start. One of the things that because it's a pain to reach. I can always start in the back, bring the road out. I figure how I'm going to do that. I could use that craft foam and then just put the factory, the building on it, just right on top of it. Maybe get that done, painted up, weathered up, kind of ready to go. In fact, I could do that for a lot of this area, so maybe I will. Maybe I'll think about that. Of course, I do have the viaduct right there, different series, but I got to get working on that. So, next segment on this will probably be once I get the materials in, and then starting to build that. Because you got the plan down, you got my insane cost down, and I got, let's see, there's two more tanks, like I said, that I'm working on for various areas, so to continue doing that kind of stuff as well. So, alright, more to come. It's going to be a long one, but hopefully the material comes in soon. I'm still holding to my June 1st date. I haven't slipped it yet because the material hasn't slipped yet. If it does, I may have to, give up and take a time out and move it out a week or so. We'll see how the material comes in from ITLA. But all right, stay tuned for the ongoing adventure, folks. More to come.